Sneakers and Cleats, the podcast.
All right, let's go to high school football. So, high school football, week 4 of the high school football slate in Texas. This is kind of the calm before the storm when district play begins. But Brennan is still the top team in our TNL top 10 poll, which we'll go through first before we get to the actual TNL game or matchup. Brennan has a huge game this week. District play is beginning for that North Side district. They're playing Harlan, which is probably their most difficult game left on the schedule. Not to discount the rest of the district, but these are the top 2 teams in the district, and it's not that close. Harlan is number 6 in our TNL top 10 poll. Brennan is number 1. Saturday, Ferris Stadium. That is going to be a hell of a matchup, and the Bears have won 15 straight district games since losing to Harlan, I believe, on TNL 2 years ago.
It was a rally. That was a hell of a ball game. This is going to be a hell of a ball game too, man. Talk about starting off district play with a bang, right? I mean, man, sign me up for that one.
Yeah, I'm off Saturday, and ASU's playing at 6:30, or I would go to that game just on my off time. Like that's a really good matchup. Steele is number 2 in our TNL top 10. They played Brandeis. Brandeis was a little spunky in that game. It was 21-17 going into half, and then Steele just kind of took over from there. They play Austin Westlake this week, and historically, Steele is not great against the Austin teams. Last year, Westlake got him. Lake Travis got him the year before. The Knights are 16 in the AP Class 6A state rankings. Westlake's 13. I don't know what to think of Westlake so far, so I hope Steele wins just because I think it's time that San Antonio gets one up on Austin at some point in football, and I really want to see it happen, but I don't know.
Well, I mean, to your point about what Steele was able to do against Brandeis is a really good team, right? And then they handled them in the second half. So, maybe this will be a case where they can wear out Westlake over time. You don't think anybody would be able to wear out Westlake, but I don't know, man. The way this Steel team has started this year, it kind of looks like statements every week, right?
Yeah.
I mean, they're going out and proving it. So, yeah, we'll keep our fingers crossed and see what flies.
Johnson moved up a spot. They're 3-0. They're 3 in the TNL top 10 poll. They beat McAllen Memorial 38-10 last week. They are perfect in their non-district run, now getting ready for district play. They have a bye this week. Harlan, we already talked about. They're number 4 in our TNL top 10 poll. They had a bye last week. They played Brennan this week. They've had 2 weeks to prepare, which is what they had last year. It was a close game last year, but they eventually ran out of gas. We'll see if Harlan and Coach Salas can keep up and do it this year. New Braunfels beat Del Rio 41-zip last week. They are number 5 in our TNL top 10 poll. They play MacArthur, so expect another win this week at Heroes Stadium. Smithson Valley is number 6 in our TNL top 10 poll. They beat Madison 42-10 last week. They play Bernie Champion this weekend. They're 3-0 against Bernie Champion all time. Number 7 is Alamo Heights. So we'll get to them here in a second. They are obviously 3-0. They beat Canyon last week 42-28. They play Clemens tonight on TNL. We'll talk about that in 1 second. They're averaging 55 points a game on offense. It helps when you score 70 week 1 against Seguin. Clark is number 8. They beat East Central in a really close back and forth game last week. They're 3-0 for the first time since 2009. So congratulations, Coach Geist over there. He's doing a great job.
Coach Ghost.
Yeah, they're on a bye this week. Southwest is number 9, and they're 3-0. John Jay is number 10, and they're 3-0. 2 guys that are on a collision course for TNL in Week 9. That is going to be a hell of a game. That's probably going to decide that district. Both of those guys are 3-0, and they're the 2 best teams in that district, especially after John Jay beat South on TNL 15-0 last week. So. All right, let's get to the TNL matchup. So Alamo Heights playing Clemens tonight, 7 o'clock, Lehnhoff Stadium. I was just telling you, I've never been to Lehnhoff. I don't know why. I've just never been out that way. Maybe it's because I usually stay at Ferris and Gus because I have to anchor on Friday nights, or I get to anchor on Friday nights. But, yeah, I've never made it out to Lehnhoff.
Well, we can't say enough at TNL for the things that the Lehnhoff family has done for the broadcast. I mean, when we were first starting this, we could get very few school districts to participate, and Coach Lehnhoff back in the day was like, hey, you guys, whatever you need, we'll be there to help you do it. SAISD was another one. There's no TNL for 17 years if it not for people like Coach Lehnhoff back in the day. So looking forward to being out there tonight, and I'm sure we'll be doing little salutes during the whole course of the game because of what he meant to all of us, still means to us.
Yeah, now that Alamo Heights and Coach Rittimann over there, he's done a great job of accepting us. I think last year was the first time we've done a game in Orem ever.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's great going out to all these schools now, and I'm looking forward to going to Lehnhoff tonight. As far as the matchup goes, Ron Rittimann, game since 2019. Like, when you think of peak efficiency and peak programs in our area, Alamo Heights is just one of the top ones, and it's not even close. Like, you can't have a conversation about best programs in our area without Alamo Heights being on that list.
Yeah, well said. I mean, they've blown out all three of their opponents to start the year. It doesn't matter who they lose. They lost a dude, obviously, last year to the University of Texas. But even when we did that game last year, right, that was not a one-man operation last year, right? They had dudes last year. And I know when we left the stadium last year, we were talking about who the best player might have been on the field was DK Garza, right?
He's the best player on every field now that they go on to, because he is one of the best players in our, probably the best running back in our area.
Wildly under-recruited.
Yeah.
Wildly under-recruited. Let's
hear from Coach Rittimann. We got a chance to catch up with him a little bit earlier this week.
3-0. This was, for lack of a better term, this was supposed to be kind of a figuring out, rebuilding type year. Doesn't show that way. What is working so well for the Alamo Heights Mules?
Well, I do think, they've been hearing this since last December about losing that great senior class, and so we've had some guys that have really stepped up. I think we're ahead of the learning curve. I thought it would take us 3 or 4 games to kind of do certain things with execution and finding the right pieces to the puzzle and the team chemistry. But I think this group is a little bit ahead of the curve. We've played 3 good teams and have had 3 good results. We still have some work to do. We still have some things we can get better at, which makes it exciting because our potential is still, I don't think we're close to where we're going to be down the road. So this would be a good week to put it all together and play a perfect game.
Is there anything that this team has shown you that's a little bit of a surprise this early in the season, whether it be leadership, offense, defense? Is there anything that kind of shocks coaches at this point?
I don't know about shock. We have high expectations and high standards around here, and so we expect to play well in all 3 phases. But the truth is we have played well in all 3 phases. And that's why I'm saying we're probably a little bit ahead of the curve on that. I didn't know how long it would take, but our team chemistry seems to be gelling, doing good. Our player leadership seems to be making good strides. And so right now I'm happy with where we are, but I also can tell you that we can be a lot better.
Last year you guys were on TNL. This year, same rematch, back on TNL. What does that mean for the Heights community as a whole to be able to be showcased on television for all of South Texas to see?
Well, I mean, we're always excited and proud of our program and our community, and this is just the way that a lot of other people get to see how our kids behave on the field, how they play the game. We think we do it the right way. We try to play with high effort and high character every snap of the game, and for us to be able to put that on TV and let other people see that, I think it makes our community proud of the way our guys play football.
I think that first question from Jack, you guys are supposed to have a letdown year, and yet you're killing everybody. Because Michael Terry III left. And when you lose the best athlete in Texas and one of the best athletes in the entire country, you expect a little bit of a step back, and that senior class was huge. But I feel like a lot of times when you lose somebody like a Michael Terry, so much of your offense is centered around that player that you almost start getting more people involved. And DK came back as just like, I think it looks like he gained 20, 25 pounds. And he is just he's a true senior now, and has kind of taken that leadership role. But they're getting more people involved too. They're not just relying on one guy to be the wildcat quarterback / wide receiver / running back. They're relying on everybody to kind of play their own positions.
Yeah, they've got dudes on both ends of the ball, right? I mean, you got tight ends that look good. They got a running back that looks good. Quarterback looks good. And last year, I believe, during the game that we had, their starting quarterback was injured, and they still looked damn good in that game. So, I mean, hats off to what Ron Rittimann has built over there, sustained excellence.
As far as Clemens goes, last year was kind of a cluster for them.
Yeah.
When we got this game last year, Alan Hill was the interim head coach. He's the son of Larry Hill, obviously. He's now in the full-time role. But when we got this game last year, they lost like half their team to injury. There was one kid, I remember we told the story during the broadcast, who got his foot run over the morning of the game and still was playing the game. Like, they were just a anything that can go wrong will go wrong kind of team last year. This year they've kind of stepped up and are heading in the right direction, but I mean, it couldn't have gotten much more down than they were at this time last year.
And remember, they were dealing with tragedy too. I mean, they had one player come home from school and he found his mom dead.
Yeah.
I mean, and having to deal and traverse your way through all that, I can't imagine a job being any harder than what Alan Hill had to deal with last year. but they've kind of figured it out now. Getting back to football, I mean they've looked really good their last 2 times out, and Coach Hill talked about earlier this week where they did a lot of stuff in the offseason to build an ecosystem within their program, and they're having fun while they're doing it. And it's funny how much fun you can have, right? No pun intended, when you're winning ball games. And so I think there's a belief this Dupree receiver is elite.
Mm-hmm.
He's going to look really nice when he ends up at UTSA. They've got dudes as well. They've always had dudes. It's about, building a team, building a program, and Alan Hill's the right hill for the right hill for the job. So he's the right guy for the job. There's no question about it. And they've got some talented players as well. I think we're in for a shootout tonight, I believe.
Yeah, and Clemens leads the all-time series 13-9-1 over Alamo Heights. I wonder when that tie was. That's what I need to do some research. I want to see when they tied. It's going to be a really good matchup. I think you're right, though. It's going to be a shootout. I'm expecting a game. Of course,
I thought we were going to have a shootout last week, and we got 15 zip. So don't take my word.
Yeah, so don't listen to Chuck, is what he's saying.
Be hating on the defenses, and they come out and stone everybody. Right?
Bob, anything before we get out of here?
I just wish we'd all say a little prayer for Joe Flacco that he survives this weekend.
Who they play this week?
Packers.
Oh, wow. Nice.
He survived last week.
Barely.
Somehow. I looked at that box score. I think if you only looked at the box scores through 2 weeks, Cleveland should be 2-0.
Well, I'd say they were chasing the scoreboard in that second half. So those numbers are – but week 1, they should have won that game.
I mean, it doesn't help when you basically turn the ball over like 3 times in your own side of the field.
It was rough. It was rough to watch.
And especially when Derrick Henry only
Twin
had
Peaks got me through it, though.
Huh?
Thank you to Twin Peaks for getting me through that game.
All right, that's all we got for you on you need to call them and get them as like a sponsor or something. You shout them out enough.
At least give me some drinks.
All right, let's download review the podcast version. If you're so inclined, give us a 5-star rating. Tell a friend, tell an enemy. We'll be back on Monday with a review the entire weekend of college, pro, and TNL. So we'll be back then. See you then.